Watch. Jessica Tapia here. Today we have a very special guest, someone near and dear to my heart, Jen Wiersma, a Temecula Valley School Board member. I have watched her over the past several months do incredible things along with the rest of her board, but what really stands out about her to me is just how graceful she does the things that she does, and specifically how gracefully she takes the hate and retaliation, because the fact of the matter is those of us out there that are speaking the truth and holding the line are getting a lot of hate and pushback, and how we respond to that, I think, is so important. So very excited to have her on today. Jen, thank you for coming in. First question for you. I personally didn't really know what a school board was, the importance of it, honestly, until I was fired. I hadn't even been to a meeting as a teacher, and looking back, I'm like, gosh, I wish someone would have told me to learn about school board, get involved, go to a meeting, because I realized that when I was fired, my school board had to vote on that. And so aside from that, there's so much importance that a school board carries. So tell us first, what drove you to become a school board member, to run?
I think the neat thing about school board members is that they're the closest policymakers to students and their families. And I am a big believer in local control.
Yep.
My students, my kiddos went through TVUSD, and I was networked with a lot of people who just felt like during COVID, they saw things that they wanted to see done differently.
Mm-hmm.
And I know as a parent, it's really important that we see our kids have a good education. It's where they spend so much of their time.
Yep.
And so during COVID, I remember watching things unfold, and I just felt like parents were deflected. And across the country, it was a common scenario. And we watched the unions keep the schools closed and the children masked. And then we watched what they were learning. And I think a lot of people woke up. And because I love my community and I've been here for almost 20 years, I just felt like that was the one arena I could step into and make a difference.
Yep.
These kiddos are the next generation. They're our legacy, and we need to do everything we can to protect them and to make sure they get a good education. So that's why I ran.
Amen. I love that. COVID really was, I feel like, where the switch flipped with so many things, and really especially education, because like you said, parents with the virtual learning got this inside look that they've never had before into their students' education, and really began waking up. And I feel like we've seen this steady wake up of parents ever since, and I love it. It makes me so excited. So far, what has been the most rewarding aspect of being a board member?
I think the most rewarding aspect of being a board member has been visiting a lot of the campuses for our elementary schools. We have amazing golden principals in Trustee Area 3, which is my area. And when I walk onto the campuses, I'm so impressed with what they're doing. They're training junior ambassadors. They're tending to the gardens. They're celebrating Dr. Seuss days. And you can just see their heart and soul invested in the people. I think in elementary school, the parents are excited. You can feel all that for the back to school nights and the activities. And as I walk in and out of the classrooms, it just really hits home how little they are
Right.
and how innocent they are. And it's why I fought through the social studies curriculum battle and spoke to the fact that we have to make sure that things are educationally suitable. We need to make sure that the topics and discussions are appropriate. I have emphasized over and over again that kids need to be kids.
Right.
And when you walk into a room of 8 and 9-year-olds and you see them light up and just the excitement for learning, I am so honored to be tasked as a trustee to protect that, to speak into policy, to encourage families, to tell moms and dads, you make the difference, you make a campus better. So if you can volunteer your time, your expertise, whatever you can play a part in, that's how we get better. And so for sure, the sweetest aspect for me has been watching those elementary school kids and just wanting to be there to encourage them to learn and live their purpose.
I love that. Yeah. Little ones are so sweet. When I was substitute teaching and I knew God had called me to teach, but I was trying to decide, like, okay, what am I going to teach and like what grade level? There was definitely something so special about that elementary. And I think, like you said, you just see they still have that innocence. And when you see that, you want to protect it and you want to keep it. You want to make it last as long as possible, especially knowing the way the world is, the way the devil works, the way, social media, just media in general, is after them and taking their innocence away sooner and sooner. And so as adults and educators and parents, we have got to be the ones, again, that are protecting that sweet innocence that the Lord has given them.
Absolutely. We're called to do it.
Yep.
So thank you for doing your part. I know you've been through a lot and have appreciated your work as an educator and speaking truth. It's really important.
Thank you. And I've appreciated your support so much. So on the flip side, then, what has been the most challenging aspect of being a board member?
So I would say the time and the schedule is tough because I'm juggling a full-time job. And then governing takes anywhere from 10 to 20 hours a week. It kind of depends on if we have meetings. As you know, some of our meetings have gone 6, 7, and 8 hours. And then there's the study and the preparation going into it. I will take a whole weekend and just hole up and study my binder and try to get my mind wrapped around some of what we need to vote on. There's a lot of information. And so that's been tough. It doesn't leave a lot of extra time, for parenting. And my kids are older now, so it's a good point in life for me to take this on. But I haven't been on vacation. We don't get a lot of date nights. Really, the sacrifice for a trustee is immense, and not just for the individual, but for the family. So that's been tough, and I'm trying to continually balance those things. Then there's the tough aspect of being in this community and seeing some of the vitriol and the angst. I feel I have a lot of supporters, and I feel the love through the emails, the notes of encouragement. But then you've got community activists, you've got the teachers' unions, and God bless our teachers. We have so many of them. But there is an aspect to the union leadership that is not kind. And it's tough sometimes to be in the community and have it so personal. As you know, we're in a recall effort right now. And so to see signs pop up or see our name projected on a Jumbotron truck or on the Party City wall, with our names, at times that's tough. And I think I have to step back and remember my purpose and feeling like I was called. And as I knocked on so many doors and met with families, that solidified my desire to represent them and to do what's best. And I knew it would be tough. I didn't know there would be quite as much name calling and crazy that's gone on. The meetings have been full of drama, as you know, but each day I'm kind of renewed, and it is my relationship with the Lord that keeps me grounded and knowing I'm just going to continue on and do the best I can do. I will humbly say I have not been a perfect trustee. I've not done it all right. But when you look at all of the different stakeholders, the teachers, the administration, the students, the parents, it's a lot of moving parts. And it's complex. So I try to take every week as it comes and just thank the people who have encouraged me, realizing that I'm going to continue to deflect those who just project hate. And then realize that if you're going to speak truth, you're going to run into that. There's just no way around it in this era with the culture war that's going on. Honestly, school boards are the front line. So I'm going to humbly do my best, shake hands with the folks that have even said hateful things, and try to do my best to maintain a testimony and keep moving forward. So it's fulfilling to know this is your purpose and you're going to live it no matter what. So
yes, and it's not always going to be easy, but I think that's a good reminder when it gets hard and when the pushback comes. It's really a reminder, at least I've been trying to tell myself, this is just affirmation that you are on the right path. You are on, the path to doing what is good, right, and true for these students. And that ticks the devil off.
It does. And it ticks the unions off.
Yes.
I think for so long they've had boards that have rubber stamped things and just sent it through. Anytime you challenge
it difficult for them.
The status quo,
love it.
They're going to give you angst and there's going to be turbulence. And that's okay. Change is hard, but we're going to do it with a smile.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We're going to keep going until all of California is changed. When you were talking about the recall signs and so forth, I was thinking in my head, when God calls you, the devil's going to try to recall you.
That's right.
Again, take it as affirmation. Like this is a calling from him. And I've been able to clearly see that you truly pour yourself into it. And it's so inspiring for me. I don't know if maybe one day, the Lord might call me to run for school board, but if he does, like, you will definitely be a role model, have been a role model for me in that. And I will come to you to learn all about it because it's still also new to me. And it looks complicated. It looks complex. It really does. And I'm just looking from the surface. You're in it. So what policies have been most important for you?
I think it's been a very busy 9 months.
Oh, yeah.
And there's several policies that stand out. Every meeting consists of passing a variety of things just to keep the district running. When you look at the budget and the totality of what it takes, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Some of the policies that have meant the most are passing resolutions to ban racism and also critical race theory, which I personally voted on right from the start. And I wanted students to understand that you shouldn't be judged by the color of your skin ever. It should always be the content of your character. And I think that started a lot of controversy from the beginning because people don't understand what that's about. And I think our students feared that maybe we would whitewash history or not want to talk about slavery or some of those hard topics. And so along the way, I've been trying to reassure them, no, absolutely, I support teaching all of history, but we don't want to divide and segment people. We don't want to have divisive classrooms and ideology that seeps in and interrupts the relationships and the learning. Every student in our classroom at TVUSD deserves a stellar education. They deserve to be affirmed regardless of their race, their ethnicity, where they come from, if they're religious or not. So that was important to us. And as we look at choosing future ethnic studies curriculum, you can have a constructive view or a liberated view, and they're very different. So if the state's going to require that, we want to be sure we've got that right foundation and that we're looking at all things circumspectly and having everyone feel value, regardless of where they come from. We also just passed a policy in affirming parents. The parent notification policy, as you know, you've been to a lot of the meetings. And this was to say, parents, you deserve to be in the know. If a student's looking at changing their name, their gender, their bathroom, any of those things, parents should be central. And it's strange to me that it's been controversial, because in the Constitution, the 14th Amendment says, we have every right. We are central in bringing up our children. We love them most. We need to assume that parents are not abusers. We understand there's difficult situations, and then there's protections and safeguards in place for mandated reporters. But in general, if kids are struggling with something, parents need to know, and schools need to be involved in that. They need to be the bridge. They need to facilitate things and never keep secrets. We've seen the problems that it's created. So that's a policy that I'm proud of because I ran on parental rights. And I want to be sure they know I'm behind them and that their home is so important to delve through all these topics. And then I just voted to pass the flag policy, which is basically saying the two flags that need to fly, the American flag and the California state flag, those are the two. They are the least discriminatory. They're the most inclusive. Every student in a classroom should feel like, you know what, we're in this together. And when you get into too many flags from organizations or religious expression or gender ideology, then again, you go back to dividing people and creating an environment where students are looking at each other and wondering where to stand. And there's retaliation and there's intimidation, and that should not be the case. I, as a trustee, am for neutral classrooms. That's always been the goal for me. And I think that as I knocked on all the doors and talked to families, regardless of what party they're affiliated with politically, whether they're religious or not, no matter what their background is, they could say, yep, that's where I want my student to learn, in a classroom where they feel like they're welcome and that there's not one ideology being promoted over another and over The flag issue, again, I think the American flag, it's what unites us.
Yep.
It absolutely should. It's returning to the basics. And
Yep.
so I was proud to stand behind that and let students know it's not about discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
It's about uniting together and you understanding that it's important for us to believe in this country, to believe in the blessings we have as Temeculans, and to move forward together. So those are just some of the things.
I wanted to share with you. So I posted right after that victory that you guys had implemented the flag policy, and oh my goodness, that post blew up. People were nationwide, so excited. I got hundreds of comments, I think over like 6,000 likes. People were very, very happy. Patriots, Americans, parents were so happy to see you guys implement that. So I wanted to share that with you. And I got a lot of people also asking, when can we implement this, in our schools, in our district? So know that you guys really you're paving the way. You're setting the standard. And how cool that that's happening right here in Southern California, right? And just California in general, the state that most people look at and have no hope for. I've been really feeling and saying lately, like, God is not done here. And I truly believe he has some of his toughest warriors here doing the work, holding the line, and it's spreading nationwide. And it's going to continue to. So it's all the more reason why we have to keep going.
It's exciting. I feel like we're ground zero. I feel like the vision I had when I started campaigning is that Saving America starts with school board. It is the front line. It's moms and dads stepping up to speak truth.
Yep.
And to make a difference and to bring us back to founding principles. Yeah. The basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, the American flag, loving our neighbor, being determined to pursue an education and our purpose. That's what this country is about. It's what we're fighting for. And so it's been an honor to be here in Temecula doing just that, even through the hard times. And it's been tough, but it's been worth it. And it's gratifying to hear that other people look at that and are inspired.
Yes.
They need to be. We need to encourage each other to move forward with the right things.
Yes, you are so appreciated and supported here, but know that you also have appreciation and support nationwide. I've heard and seen that firsthand as I've just shared about the work that you guys are doing in Temecula. So keep going. Last question, looking to the future, what are you wanting to focus on moving forward? I feel like you've done so much already. I'm like, what more could you possibly do? But I know something's up your sleeve. So what are you looking forward to working on in the future?
I think I would like to encourage parents to continue being involved on campuses.
Okay.
At Alamos Elementary, they're putting the Watchdog Dad program together.
I love that.
And it's so awesome. It's what I talked about during the campaign. And this group can be uncles, big brothers, dads, grandpas. It's bringing men onto campus to be an encouragement. And there are some kiddos that don't have dads. Yeah. These are people who can be the eyes and ears of a campus. They can serve in the crosswalk. They can be there at recess or at lunch, after school. We're seeing a big group come together. They're having a huge pizza party in the next couple of weeks, and they're gathering together to see what they can pour into the campus. And I know other schools are going to follow suit, and that's important. A lot of parents don't know you can serve on a site committee, the PTA. There's a variety of fairs and festivals that take place, and teachers need you. The administration needs you. And as I've emphasized, when communities come together and people give to their local school, that makes a huge difference. And there's a great deal of joy in that. So I'm going to continue to encourage that. We're going to continue to look at safety and security. Yeah. We're going to look at maybe getting kids that ride those e-bikes certified. Because they zip along the roads and there's just issues with that.
Basically motorcycles.
And traffic. We might look at dress code.
That would
which
be wonderful.
May not be super popular, but I've had moms reach out and say, hey, these are some of my concerns. And I think we have good policy in place. It's just troubleshooting how do we enforce that? How do we love our kids and yet say, you know what, we need to have some standards here where we're respecting one another, our teachers, our administration. These are hard issues, and I want to continue to take them on one step at a time. But then I also want to be sure to thank people along the way. There's been a lot of negative in the news. We don't always get the positive press.
Right.
So for me, I'm going to take on policy and things that are important, but I'm hoping to speak life into the people that make the district what it is, because we do have those amazing people. We do have an incredible school district. I just think we need to remember the accountability and the transparency are so important. We can't sweep things under the rug. We have to address them and at the same time say we're thankful for all of these things. So if I can find that balance, hopefully over time, my depth and strength as a trustee will continue to grow, and people will continue to put more and more trust in what I'm trying to do as I move forward. So that's what I'm praying for, is more wisdom and discernment and the humility in knowing I don't always get it right, but I'm doing my best and I'm putting the hours in. So thank you for recognizing that. School boards are really important, and I just have a great deal of gratitude for being given this important position and having the chance to serve the community.
So good. I love all of that. And I can't wait to see you fight for all of those things, because obviously as a former teacher myself, I see the need for all of those things. I see the importance in all of those. And again, you guys are just going to pave the way for the rest of the state. Actually, last but not least, how can people support you, support your work, follow along? How can we do that?
I am so grateful for the people who have come alongside us, and it's just the little things. It's reaching out to our email. We get emails on every side, but when we get a note of encouragement and it's on our TVUSD website, that means the world. It's great if you can set the time aside to come to a school board meeting. Some people don't want to be a part of the drama, and I get it. So if that's not your gig, reach out and email and let us know how you might want to volunteer. With the recall efforts, we're looking for people who might want to be a part of telling the story of what's really going on. I have a website, jenfortvusd.com, where I try to keep people updated. Jen for TVUSD is not an official school Instagram. It's a mix of personal and kind of my journey as a trustee. But if people keep up with me there, they'll kind of know. And then prayer is really the most important thing. It's realizing, what can you do? What are you called to in your community? Can you be a voice? Are you a parent? Can you serve at the school? Can you write a letter? Can you join a committee? If you can do something along those lines, that supports me, because really a board member is one person. We're kind of the point, but all throughout the district, we want parental involvement and people giving their insight. That's what makes us stronger. So it's really just thinking about what you can give, getting in your lane, and moving forward. And again, if you drop me a note on Instagram or message me, it means a lot. I've had little notes make my entire day. You know, when I'm out in the community, I never know what I'm going to walk into. And there was a family the other day when I was walking out of Trader Joe's that came up to me, and it was such a neat conversation. I'd never met them. They just said thank you. Their kiddos were there, and it was that conversation that just reiterated to me, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I'm fighting to protect the kids. This is why I'm in this position that has a lot of hours, very little money, and a lot of angst. Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm tasked to do. So any of those things would be great. And then just follow me to keep up and let your neighbors know what's really happening. There's a lot of narrative out there that's not true. So if you know truth and you find it, tell 10 people. And that'll help us.
I love that. We will definitely be doing that. And that moment at the grocery store, those are the absolute best, because you know in that moment, like, this is an ordained moment from God, just wrapping his arms around me, letting me know I'm seen, I'm appreciated, and to keep fighting. So that is so sweet. I've had so many moments like that since being fired, and they really are what help you keep going. So that is so precious. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for coming in today. Thank you for everything that you're doing for the community. We are here to support you in any way we can. Prayers door to door, however it may be. Please don't hesitate to call on us. So thank you again, Jen. Thank you, Our Watch, for checking out this episode with Jen Wiersma. She is a hero in the community, and we are going to continue highlighting and amplifying the stories of more heroes, specifically those in education, because just as she said, school board, our little ones, education really is the front lines and the forefront of this spiritual warfare that we're seeing. And so it is pertinent that we all do our part to protect the children. So thank you again for tuning in. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time.